Alright, Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai, Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai, Kawapala Yahweh, Bashan Yahushai, Bashan Yahweh Kakadash, the Bamas, the Elder Apostle, Great Millstone, who we will. Here's I take it Aki, and preach the truth across the four corners of the earth, to the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashan Yahushai, that the hope will elect, salutation is like foreigner that scattered amongst the nations, that believe in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, and shalom to the citizens and families that tune into the gospel that's preached around the whole world. Peace and mercy unto you. And who the world inwardly called God is named Yahweh. And who the world inwardly called Jesus Christ is named Yahweh Shai. That were the Hebrew Israelite that consists of the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. And those who line descendants go back to one of the 12 tribes of Israel due to the scattering amongst the nations. Alright, we see in the screen. Today was Jerusalem Day, alright? The day that the imposters, alright, the heathens, alright, calling themselves Israeli, are not the true Israelites, alright, which are Ashkenazi, the Amalekite, okay, of Edom, alright, or the offspring of Edom, alright, the so-called white people, alright, that force occupied, alright. So you see on the screen, Israel has occupied East Jerusalem since 1967 and considered the entire city its capital, though this is not recognized by most countries, alright? And how they do this? By the way of the Balfour Declaration, alright? They forced their way in there, alright? The elite, okay? The Zionists, alright? They might flag this video, but oh well, truth gonna go out, alright? That's pretty much fulfilling prophecies. And instead of scriptures, it's, Zechariah 9 and 6. It said, "And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines." Alright? You know, the word bastard. The Hebrew word manzar, which is an illegitimate child. Alright? Alright, because the promise didn't go unto Esau. They changed to Edom, which means red. And the offerings of Edom is Edomite. His son and grandson had, their lineage, alright? The promise was given us today was given us to Jacob, his name changed with Israel, okay? It's Hebrew, that's your olive, prince of the powers, alright? Because the Heavenly Father, that's why I call the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, is technically our father, that we're his child, alright? We're his children, okay? And then Ashdod is the major Philistine city and the Mediterranean city west from Jerusalem, modern Ashdod. Alright, so you look that up. That is proof that that's in the land today. That's a so-called, what they call it, Israeli, alright? Jewish, alright, pertaining to, the ISH, stuff it on the end means pertaining to, alright? You can see that right above Echelon, right above Gaza, is the Ashdod, alright? To show you that the people dwelling in the land of Israel or Philistines today are not the true people, alright? They're Ashdod, Bastard, Talakia, okay? The heathen was put into that land, okay? we have scripture that talk about the Sumerians. They do not go into the way of the Sumerians, alright, because they were replaced there when the northern tribe got taken out, alright, in the land of Israel, in the land of Samaria, okay? It was heathens, so after generation they inherited lie and start following the law, statute, and commandment, start calling it stuff Israeli or Israelite, whatever you want to call it, but they're not true people, okay? Their father inherited lie, alright? So back to the Balfour Declaration, Wikipedia it. They did it to form an Israel state, alright? They're calling themselves trying to fulfill prophecy, but they're not fulfilling prophecy, alright? It's the Balfour Declaration, or Wikipedia, was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917 during the First World War, alright? But that also prophesies in the scriptures as well. The First World, alright, world means destruction. Announcing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, alright? Because they thought they were the people of Israel, alright? And they call themselves coming back to their home state, country. And that's not where they're from, alright? So they're actually from the Caucasus Mountains, alright? From the, where Esau, Edom came out of after their little captivity was being forced in the mountains by Israelites during the Dark Ages, okay? And even going before that, they're actually from the land which is known today as Jordan, alright, which is south of Israel, alright, which is the land of Edom, okay? Petra, alright, that's where they're really from. Let's go back to the article that said, in Palestine, then an Ottoman region with a small minority Jewish population. You know about the Ottoman Empire, but basically Edomite following Islamic religion. All right. The declaration was contained in a letter dated 2 November 1917 from the United Kingdom Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to Lord Rothschild. All right. You know who Lord Rothschild is. All right. Another so-called Jew. A leader of the British Jewish community for transmission to the Zionist Federation of Great Britain and Ireland. The text of the declaration was published in the press on 9 November 1917, immediately following the declaration of war on the Ottoman Empire in November 1914. The British War Cabinet began to consider the future of Palestine, but in 2 months a memorandum was circulated to the cabinet by a Zionist cabinet member, Herbert Samuel, proposing the support of Zionist ambition in order to enlist the support of Jews in the wider war. A committee was established in April 1915 by British Prime Minister H. Asquith to determine a policy toward the Ottoman Empire, including Palestine. Asquith, who had favored post-war reform of the Ottoman Empire, resigned in December 1916. Replacement David Lloyd George favored partition of the empire. The first negotiations between the British and the Zionists took place at a conference 7 February 1917 that included Sir Mark Skite and Zionist leadership. Subsequent discussion led to the Balfour request on 19 June that Rothschild and Chaim Weizmann submit a draft of a public declaration. Further draft was discussed by the British cabinet during the September and October with input from Zionist and anti-Zionist Jews, but with no representation from the local population in Palestine. Alright. Let's see. By late 1917, in the lead-up to the Balfour Declaration, the wider war had reached a stalemate with two of Britain's allies not fully engaged. The United States had yet to suffer a casualty, and the Russians were in the midst of a revolution with Bolsheviks taking over the government. A stalemate in southern Palestine was broken by the Battle of Beersheba on 31 October 1917. The release of the final declaration was authorized on 31 October. The presiding cabinet discussions have referenced perceived propaganda benefit among the worldwide Jewish community for the Allied war effort. Alright, so that's pretty much a, here, a little, said when the mandate expired in 1948, Britain withdrew from Palestine, allowing armed Zionists gains to capture vast swaths of Palestinian land before unilaterally declaring a new state of Israel, an event known today as the Nakba, the catastrophic in Arabic. All right, so Esau was doing all this stuff in order to get that land. All right, and it's to show you how they took over the land. All right, I believe the red is what was Palestine. And then they started losing their land. Yep, red is Palestine, white is Israel, and yellow is Jewish settlement inside of Palestine because they want to push all the Palestinian out. Okay, but those are not the. Both of those people don't belong in that land. All right. Uh, remember how that scripture goes. Jeremiah 31 and 1, at the same time, saith the Lord Yahweh shall shine, where I be the power of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh shall shine, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. The Lord Yahweh Shai hath appeared of old unto me, saying, yeah, I have loved thee with everlasting love. Therefore with loving kindness have I drawn thee. Alright, to draw us out of the land that we are scattered and bring it back to our homeland of Israel. Alright, the true um, children of Israel. Alright, the so-called black, the native, and Latino. Again I will build thee, and thou shalt be built, O Virgin of Israel. Thou shalt again be adorned with thy tabret, and shalt go forth in the dances of them that make merry. Thou shalt yet plant vine upon the mountain of the myriads. The planters shall plant, and shall eat them as common seed. For there shall be a day that the watchmen upon the mount of Ephraim shall cry, arise ye, and let us go up to Zion, unto the Lord Yahweh shall shine our power. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh shall shine, sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the sheep of the nations. Public ye, praise ye, and say, O Lord Yahweh shall shine, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. Alright, because the remnant of Israel is the one that be saved. Alright, the elect. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, which is North America. Alright, and gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return thither. They shall come with weeping and with supplication, for I lead them. I will call them to walk by the river of water in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel. All right, because he's our true father, and we're his true children. And Ephraim is my firstborn. Okay, it was right over there today. He's not the father of them. That's why the bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Hear the word of the Lord, Yahweh shall shine, O ye nations, and declare it in the hour afar off, and say, he that scattereth Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd doeth his flock. Right. So Yahweh shall try to do the gathering. Not men, not no declarations, the Balfour declarations, and Dirty Rat came over to Israel on a boat, on a different ship, an airplane. No. He could do a marvelous salvation, alright, that could be greater than the deliverance of us coming out of Egypt, okay? As a matter of fact, it's in the same chapter. There shall be no more war. All right, here I can read this and then close it out on this, because apparently today them still calling the children of the Most High. They breaking all type of law, statutes, commandments. All right, they eating pork, having the biggest gay parade, and they getting bombed on right now. All right, but the scripture said it's supposed to be peace when they come back into the homeland, which means that they didn't fulfill the prophecies. Verse 31, behold, the day comes, saith the Lord, Yahweh shall shine, I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Alright, not no other nation. Not according to the covenant that I made with their father in the day that I took them by the hands to bring them out of the land of Egypt, with my covenant they break. Although I was the husband unto them, saith the Lord Yahweh shall shine. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord Yahweh shall shine, I will put my law in their inward part and write it in their heart. Alright, so we ain't gonna ever go off, because it could be in our mind. It would be wired to have it 100%. Okay? And will be their power, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, how thou shalt shine. Yeah, you got right over there today that are still waiting for the first Messiah to come. Alright? For they shall all know me, And you got secular, they call themselves secular Jews. It ain't supposed to be like that when we come back to the land of Israel. We're all going to be following the law, statutes, and commandments. There ain't going to be no secular Israelite in the land of Israel, all right, in the kingdom of heaven. So they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them. Saith the Lord, how shall strive, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Thus saith the Lord, how shall shine, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the wave thereof war. The Lord, how shall shine, a host is his name. Pretty much it on that. If I can find that other scripture. Oh man. Let's check out Jeremiah 30. Lock it. Start at 3. Jeremiah 33. Below the day comes, saith the Lord, how about shall shine, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, how about shall shine. And I'll call them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that the Lord Yahweh shall shine spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. Alright, both northern and southern kingdom. But thus saith the Lord Yahweh shall shine, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loin as a woman travail, and all faith is turned into paleness. Alright, it'll be the time we're about to approach now. Alright, the time to take a trouble. Martial law, shutting down the city, the famines, wars. It said, alas, for that day is great, though that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, alright? But he shall be saved out of it, the elect will. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh shall try the host, that will break his yoke from off thy neck, and I will burst thy bond, and strangers shall no more serve themselves unto him. Alright? But they shall serve the Lord Yahweh shall shine a power, and David, their king. Where King David at? Is King David not over in Israel today? Because they're not the one to fulfill the prophecies. We are. All right. Who I will raise up unto them. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, Yahweh shall shine. Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed in the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. That's a clear cut today, because them dudes over there is afraid. Alright? They're relying on the Iron Dome, the missile defense, was not going to save them when Yahushua come back along with the angels. Alright? So they're afraid. Okay? They're afraid of Iran. That's why they want to take Iran out. That's why they want the United States, its ally, to go to back them up in the war. Alright? For I am with thee, saith the Lord, how much I'll try to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations. Whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee. The other nations are still out here, thriving. Alright, they still exist. So they ain't fulfilled nothing. But I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh shall shine, thy bruise is incurable, and thy ruin is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicine. All thy leverage, let me see, don't go down. Verse 18. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh shall shine. Behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tent, and have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be built upon her own heap. Alright, because Israel going to be destroyed. And the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry, and I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. Today they're few right now. Cause they're not reproducing like they're supposed to, because they're not true children of Israel. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Keep reading. It said, their children also shall be as for time, and their congregation shall be established for me, and I will punish all that oppress them. Alright, so how much I'm trying to oppress or oppressors, all the other nations. And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governors shall proceed from the midst of them. And I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engages in his heart to approach unto me? Saith the Lord Yahweh shall shine. And ye shall be my people, and I will be your power. Behold, the whirlwind of the Lord Yahweh shall shine, goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. So Esau, you can be taken out. Alright, and it's going to fall on you. Alright, the leadership of Esau, Edom. The fierce angel of the Lord Yahweh shall shine not return until he hath done it, and until he hath performed the intent of his heart. In the latter day ye shall consider it. And we're in the latter days, so Yahweh is soon approaching. Alright? This damn devil is an imposter. Alright? He's on stolen land. He has stolen our identity. Alright? But that's why Yahweh shall try to come back and do away with the devil. Alright? And it's a good thing that they're catching all the hell that they're catching right now. Alright? And pretty soon they're going to be destroyed. Alright? Along with America. And with that.